Hey everybody, seems like quarantine tanks are going to be my theme for the day. So this quarantine tank now has cloudy water in it. I recently came down here and found a bunch of really gross white stuff in it. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I recently found out, thanks to one of my viewers, that it was called white water mold, and it's actually a fungus. I'll attach a card right here so that you can have a look at what it looks like in my filter. But one of the ways to prevent it is give plenty of light and circulation and, the typical kind of stuff that we should probably have going on in our tanks anyway. So long story short, I stripped out the tank, I sterilized everything, and I put a new filter on it. And the cycle had to start all over again. So when I did that, I did take the sponge filter out of another tank, or the hang on the back, the sponge out of the hang on the back filter, and I switched it around in the tank really good, and that does a good job of jump starting your cycle. Don't waste your time taking old tank water out of another tank that does nothing except put dirty water in your new tank. If you're going to do that, you've got to take the actual material out of the filter itself, your biological material, the sponge, or if you've got, in this case, this tank actually has the ceramic rings in there. I don't know how well you can see them with all that bright light on there, but in this case it's the ceramic rings. And what I did was, after the initial swishing of the hang on the back filter, the sponge part, about a week ago, and then last night I noticed the water in this tank was really, really cloudy. It looked like I'd poured a cup of milk in the tank. And so what I did was I turned this filter off and took the lid off so it exposed the rings we were just looking at. And then I took the hang on the back filter again and swished it around in a container of water, this container. Put a little bit of water in there, swished it around, and then I poured the water directly into the chamber in the filter where the rings are. Now remember, I had shut the filter off so there was no water flow, and I simply poured that bucket right into that front chamber where all those rings are, and then I let it sit for about an hour. And actually I let it sit for about 3 hours now I'm thinking about it. It was later in the evening I came back. I don't know if that made a difference or not, but my reasoning is that the bacteria has to live on the surface. It doesn't live flowing around in the tank. So if I was able to just give it some time to sit in there in direct contact, I poured that filthy, filthy water right in that area where all those bio rings were, and I just let it sit for a few hours. And then I turned the pump back on and got the water circulating and flowing. And my reasoning was at least giving it some time to be in there in direct contact with those rings might have allowed it to sort of attach and establish, at least to some degree, before I turned the water back on and got it just flowing around the tank, unattached to anything. So I've added a light that's supposed to help keep the white water mold from coming back. And we're letting this filter finish cycling in. So I wish I'd actually taken an ammonia and a nitrite test last night when the water was really cloudy, but I didn't. I can say when I came down this morning, you can see the water is much, much clearer than what it would look like if I had poured a glass of milk in there. And I did check the nitrites a little while ago, and they're down to about 0.5 part per million, and there's no ammonia. So, that's actually clear enough that I could put some fish in it if I wanted. And in fact, I am heading over to the fish store today, and they've still got neons on sale for $1 and a few other things. I think they have longfin black skirt tetras on sale for $1. I've had my eye on them for a little while. So we'll see if I don't bring something home today and put it in this tank. I can always do a water change and then give the biologicals another boost the same way I did yesterday. And that, in addition to having the new fish and everything in there, I'll still have to keep my close eye on it, but I think we'll be okay as far as having it cycled in enough that I can use it. So thanks for watching. I know it's kind of boring sitting here just looking at an empty tank for 5 minutes while I ramble on, but there you go. Again, I appreciate the interest. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.